Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Melanie with George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. We have a very special guest. We have a legend. We have a woman who's been in sport of bodybuilding from, I would say, when it was in the tween stages, in the early stages. This is one Mrs. Melanie Horton. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. Great to be
Not
here.
not a problem. Not a problem. As you know, I've been following bodybuilding for since I can remember. In fact, I do remember you back in the day when you were competing. It was a good part of the '90s, and
Yes.
and you stepped away from the sport. Please tell us how you got into it and all the other stuff that happened afterwards.
Sure. Yeah. So as you mentioned, I started back in the 90s. 94, I think, was my very first competition. And like a lot of people, it's just training in the gym. And somebody said, "Hey, you should, the competition coming up. Why don't you try it out?" So I knew nothing about the sport. And there was, she actually passed away last year, but Rhonda Charisma
Oh
was,
yeah, oh
you
yeah,
remember Rhonda? She
yeah.
was a,
Rhonda has been on my podcast, my chat, on my live stream a couple of times. We used to
okay.
talk, we used to chat, online.
Yeah.
Sometimes she called me. I talked to her. I remember the last time I talked to her, she said she's moved back to Canada, and I sent her a
Yes.
package before she moved. And she's just a wonderful person. It was
Yeah.
amazing to interview her. I mean, yeah, and we're sorry for her loss because it broke my heart when I heard about it because I knew she was dealing with the colon cancer, and
With the cancer. Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
it was just and I always wanted to meet her someday. But she was an amazing lady, and I
She
think
was great. Yeah, she had a great heart, and so she was just coming up in the sport. She was getting to the national level, and yeah, so she helped me out the first couple shows, and yeah, right after the first show, that was it. I knew nothing about it, but very quickly became fell in love with the sport and competing, and so went on for a few years. I connected with Laura Benetti, who's become one of my closest friends over the years, but she's obviously a legend in women's bodybuilding, and so she was a great mentor to me. And she coached me to win a pro card in '98 at the Canada's Nationals. So, and back then we only had bodybuilding. There wasn't that was the only category. So either you did that or you weren't involved. So and there's so many different divisions now, but yeah, so I did my first one pro debut in bodybuilding in '99. It was kind of fun because that was the year they had pulled women's bodybuilding from the Olympia contest, and Kenny Castle in New Jersey held the Miss Olympia with the women's strength extravaganza. So it was
oh
kind of
yeah,
a neat, yeah, it was pretty neat experience to be there with the Olympians on their stage, kind of prior to their event. But I got up there, and I'm mini Mel, right? So I'm about 5'2". I think I was about 120 pounds, and I had Laura Creval on one side and Betty Pariso on the other side. So I literally among giants, right? And
yeah.
yeah, so it was great, but I was I just didn't have the size for bodybuilding, so I stepped away, had a family, got into baby building, I guess. So the kids were young, and then about 7 years ago, women's physique had been introduced, and I was getting back into the gym a little bit more, and I just kind of thought, I wonder if I could still get in that kind of shape. So I tried it, and the rest of the here I still am 7 years later competing.
Yeah, that's amazing. You stood the stage with how some mindsets of us, you stood saying of Amazons and goddesses. You
Yeah,
stood the stage with people like Laura Craval. Like I'm a big
yeah,
Laura Craval fan.
yes,
Pariso.
yeah,
You're friends with Laura Beniti. I think Laura, she's one of the ladies that really represented Rhonda Lee and Laura were
yeah,
those ladies that really represent Canada. I mean,
yes.
I have a Facebook page called uh, which dedicated to women of Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send you a link to it. You check it
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
And there's always been a history of some great women come from that from your country.
Yes.
People like Wendy McMasters and Rhonda Lee, and
Yeah.
I'm friends with a lady that we Facebook friends with a lady that you were at the Toronto with, Miss Tana Huey, and we've been
Yes,
talking.
Tana. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Tana.
Tana was coached by Laura as well. So we're
Yeah,
all frequent the same gyms, the same circle, right?
yeah. I mean, yeah. It's just like I say, it's kind of a small community, and
Yeah.
you said it about. I remember that back in '99 when they dropped Miss Olympia. I said, "What the hell's going on? What's
Yeah.
going on?" And then they had two shows that year. They had the Straight Fans Extravaganza and
Yeah.
the Miss Olympia, what was Kim Zavetsky's last Olympia, and
Yes.
Kim went sideways, or you might step back a little bit, and
Yes.
she
Yeah.
competed, did physique. No, she did figure and she did fitness for a minute, and
Yeah.
and she did like you also. She became a mom. She has two sons, and
Yeah.
she's married. And that's the thing is, a lot of people don't think that after the sport, there's a good amount of women often, they leave the sport and they just, be married or don't have the children. But you have two children. You have a son and a daughter.
Yeah.
And what are the ages now, or what they're doing?
So my son's 18. He's getting ready for his high school prom tomorrow night, and our daughter's 20. So she's in university. So
That's
yeah,
pretty good.
yeah,
We got here one of our followers here, Mr. JM 2021. We have a female bodybuilder legend. Yes, we do. And I mean, we appreciate her coming through, folks. Because you know what, a while back I had an interview with. I know a lady you might have crossed paths with when you were competing, Miss Nancy Lewis.
yes, yeah,
She is a great lady. She's still in good shape. We were talking I was telling her, like, you know what, she still competed up to about 2013, 30, 12. And I thought, ask her, would you ever consider the time when physique started, we switch over? She said, yeah. Well, she was kind of at the cusp of it, and
okay,
she just, like I said, she could have, but like I said, the sport keeps evolving and changing. If you look at
yes,
the last few years, like if you look at, like, when you come up around the '90s, you had Linda Murray, you had Laura Craval, you had Vicky Gates, Nancy was there, like, Yonda Hughes, Laura,
Yaxani,
hmm?
Yaxani,
Xavier King,
yes,
who is, people forget, is the first mom Miss Olympia in the
yes,
history
yeah,
of
yeah,
bodybuilding, because she has a son, and to stand shoulders with those women, and and just recently, I lady who been, I know, pretty much it's a lady most definitely, is Michelle Brent. We were talking back and
yes.
forth.
Just met her this past weekend. Yeah,
Yeah, and she was good friends also with Rhonda Lee, and
right.
her herself, being that she was I think one of the few women that's still in the sport who was, I would call, a true female bodybuilder, because
Yeah,
a lot of girls now have jumped from, either they were figure or they were physique, or sometimes even go as far as bikini.
yes, yeah. Yeah, it's been a real switch. One of the real kind of surreal moments when I came back and I went into physique was, remember, they had, for a while there, they had lightweight women's bodybuilding. So Julia Bergman was an Olympian in the lightweight bodybuilding, but also, if you remember, Valentina Chapiga. Do you remember that
Yeah,
name?
yeah, she won for heavyweight for 22,000, but Andruda Burchett was
Yes.
co-Miss Olympia for lightweight, and I always believe that Andruda should have won that. Just
Yes, yes. But Valentina was at the same contest as me, I think in 2016. So there I was meeting like an idol of mine, right? But and she went to physique and was still competing at that time. I think she's retired now, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's fun the paths you cross with the people in the sport. It's good.
I know Ronnie Lee did it for about a couple of years, but then what happened? She had to step away from it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and she moved to the States,
mhm.
yeah, so I had lost touch with her many years ago, but, always remember those early days. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the good days when you come. I remember when you, like, folks. He sent me a video the other day of her when she won her pro card, and I think it was '94. You said, was
98, 98.
98, 98. Okay, okay. So I was from here, and I saw in the back where you saw was Laura was patting you,
Laura,
like, I would give you
Laura was there, yeah.
that
Yeah,
was good.
she coached me all through those years, so yeah,
Yeah, 'cause I know
yeah.
recently she was thinking about coming back, but injury sidelined her. She I know, when I do, like, a lot of research, a lot of people, like I do a thing called comparisons videos,
Yeah.
and I did, do some research on her. I know she lives in Omaha, and there's a show in Omaha coming up this weekend, and women like that, her, Bev Francis, and many others, they changed the look of the sport. I think they were kind of like the predecessors of what was coming for female bodybuilding down the road.
Yes, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, a lot of Laura had a lot of muscle mass, and I had an opportunity to train with her quite a bit. So you could just see from the physique, you could just imagine how she trained. So heavy weights and real serious hard trainer, and yeah. But the thing that's interesting is, so Laura's we're around the same age, and she looks like she could step on stage next week. Like she's downsized, but she's in great shape. She's a trainer in Omaha. But a lot of the women of that era, Kim Shuveski, if you look at Betty Pariso, she's in her 60s. She looks amazing. So it's pretty. Some people say, oh, it's not a healthy sport, and I say, well, I don't know. Look at these women who were competing in the 90s, and a lot of them still in pretty phenomenal shape, right?
Yeah, because you look at Linda Murray. Linda Murray is I think he's 59 now, and
Yeah.
and she looks like, maybe she won't be get on stage anymore, but it's about the healthy lifestyle with Clint Fitness. Even though some people might not see bodybuilding as healthy, but then the reward from it when you follow consistency, the diets and everything. Even though you still eat like regular people, but still you try to you go to the gym, you work out. Even though you may not get the same size of muscle you had before when competing, but it's just that's the lesson you learn as a competitor. Now, folks, here we have Miss Melanie Horton. If you want to check her out, I have her social media stuff in the description. Reach out to her. If you are someone interested to talk to someone like her, like a legend, she's a wonderful lady. But I'm gonna say this. Excuse me. I'm gonna say this way, fellas. You know my rules. No DPX. None. She got a husband. She got kids. Last day, her husband he can see, and somebody say, "Who's this saying to my wife?" And you be like, well, we go something in the house, and don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
Thanks, George.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's appreciated. I try to tell these guys out there because you know what, we see ladies like you, especially women of your age and maturity, even having still a great, amazing set of physique. I mean, like I was doing, like I said, I sent you what I call my introduction video, where I take pictures here and there, and for you from when you were starting, you're pretty good, but then even today you're still pretty good.
Yeah, that's I think that's the thing in the last few years. Like if I can keep improving and getting better and coming back each time, and I love the sport. I love competing, so I'm just going to keep doing it as long as I can still hang with the girls up there. So,
Yeah.
and I love that now they brought I like the term you use for the mature athletes. The masters division, there's more and more contests. In the IFBB, and they're bringing back the Masters Olympia next year,
Yeah,
which is pretty exciting for someone like me. That'd be just a dream to make it to that stage someday. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because how you feel about that because some ladies who I talk to, Masters not as popular. And most of the time, you don't get paid as much compared to you do Open, and and I know one lady who I was talking with, she said that when she did her last Master show, she had to pay a fee.
Yeah.
And we hit the pro level, why do you need to pay a fee for?
Yeah. That's one thing I don't agree with the entry fees they have. They do have that for most of the Masters contests. Now, a lot of the promoters distribute that among the winners, so you get it back. But it'd be nice to do away with that part for Masters. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, now it's becoming part of the Olympia again. And because I remember back in the '90s, they had the Masters. They had mostly for the men. They had I remember Luke Rigno, Vince Carter, Vince Taylor, and a couple other guys competed that year years ago. But for now, you're going to have it for other competitors. Like I said, it'd be like you can double dip if you want. You can I could do the Open, and because Tampa Bay has the Masters too, and I can do Open, and then I can do the Masters, and then I can qualify the Olympia. I don't have to stand like between somebody like if you think about like Natalia Correjo, who just done 15 shows this year.
Yeah.
And it's just, and that's the thing about that. I was talking about some of that, how do you feel as a competitor when you have somebody who always qualified for their Olympia qualification, then doing these multiple shows back to back, you feel like it's good competition or just taking away opportunities for other competitors?
Well, it takes away the opportunity to win a show, but I don't know if I was in her position, and especially the new shows. So Pittsburgh was a brand new show this year, so she's got those titles now. She doesn't have an Olympia title yet, but that there isn't a whole lot of prize money in the sport. So to keep competing at the shows, I think I don't see anything wrong with it. All the more power to her, and as far as taking away opportunities from others with the point system now, there's still, even if you're second or third place, at these contests, you can build up the points and still get yourself a spot at the Olympia. But eventually, you're going to have to face the top girls like Natalia. So might as well do it in New York or Pittsburgh or any other show that those girls choose to do.
Yeah. Here we got here is JM 2021. My past crush is Valentina Chapigan. Yeah.
Me too.
And here is again, George. Which Laura are you referring to? Well, I'm referring to both Lauras. He's good friends with Laura Beniti, if you remember Laura Beniti from back in the day. And also, one of my favorites is also another Laura Cravel. I'm a big Laura Cravel fan. I think she was an amazing lady. I think she was like one of those ladies I would call Miss Olympia, never been Miss Olympia. Yeah, she's been at least Miss International 3 or 4 times during her career. And it's a pretty good career. And Laura, I think Laura might have won a couple of Jantanas in her career, or
one. They had something called the World Bodybuilding Championships they held it in Detroit. So Laura won that one.
I think it was the one that Krista Bach. She was in that show. She was one of my favorite. I mean, she was. She also is a woman who was a female bodybuilder that was a mother who came to the sport.
Right.
And that was amazing about her. I think she had an amazing physique. I did a video about her a while back. It's one of my most popular videos on my channel. Yeah, I think I got like over 15,000 views.
Oh, wow.
I made a video about me 4 years ago. 15,000. And and I know she's at least in her 70s now because I did a birthday video for her.
Yeah.
And she just had amazing physique. I mean, just her lines, just her and Annie Orvicchio are my 2 most popular videos I put on my channel.
Yeah, Annie still takes. She still does photography. I see her name around. I haven't crossed paths with her yet, but I'm sure will eventually.
Yeah. Annie does photography for I think it's called MuscleEngine.com, or which we call it the Meet the Meet website. Because we got to think like this. We're in bodybuilding. Your fan base is mostly men.
Yeah.
If you break it down to the other, like to men's bodybuilding, where it's like, okay, you got men, guys who come ça, and women, but your fan base is mostly men. And I'm, when I post the pictures on my IG of you, some guys like that one picture you love. Like I'll bring it up in a minute. That one picture these guys love, because we smokes out there. We go wild for you ladies. I mean, there's this, excuse my French, because you're a lady, I want to you to say, but there's an old smoke smearing. So you ladies rock hard, we're rock hard. And that's the thing about it. Your work you put in, and the stuff the things you have to do. Like I said, you have responsibility. You have family, you have a husband, you have kids, and and that's why when I got into this, I really just got into as a fan. But I'm really learning some stuff, and the things they tell me, and the stuff from the relationships I gathered since I started doing interviews. I'm learning a real lot. I'm just because I'm about to put up the picture in a second, guys, because I know what's out there, so be you guys just be careful, be respectful, because this is a great picture. I mean, it's like I think from you were training, and it is. I'm about to put it up in a second. Here we go. Here it is. I mean, this is what I think. This is the favorite pose. Guys love this pose. It's the crab pose. It's like kind of not a crab pose, but it's the most muscular pose, they call it. But also in the mindset of many of the small pervs, it's the most sensual pose. I don't know. It's about your shoulders, your pecs, everything. Just it's just wow.
That was in Orlando last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a good one. I still look tan there from the comp. I had competed a couple days before that.
Yeah, that's great. And that's the thing is it's as we follow you ladies. Like I said, as I do this content, I follow you ladies. I'm really learning some things. Now, one thing I want to help me up a little bit. There's some terminologies I'm trying to get I'm trying to get a knowledge of, and you have experience. One terminology I'm trying to understand is muscle bellies. What is that?
So it's just you'll see athletes they kind of that bubbly muscle look. So and a lot of that's genetic. When you it's just where the muscle inserts and a big round muscle belly. It's just a term, but it makes an athlete look full and very aesthetic. So yeah.
Okay, thank you for telling me, because I got an education here from a legend, Miss Horton. Now, as we were talking about earlier, as you know about the shows like that, recently we just saw that Arnold, Arnold,
Yes.
he has decided to take the division out from the Arnold Women's Classic. Now, you competed back in
Yeah.
2017, and
Right.
was that long ago when he took it out from uh, women's bodybuilding from it. As a, I can quote a lot of movies here because I'm a big movie fan. One of my favorite movies is the whole Batman Chris Nolan trilogy, where
Yes.
the part when uh, Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul walks up to Bruce Wayne in the party, says like, to take care of the enemy, you walk behind them and stab them on the heart. And, yeah, and that's how he did to women's bodybuilding, and did turn around, did it to your division. Now,
Yeah.
what was your feeling when you heard that? Okay, all these years that when women's bodybuilding was over there in the you had Mr. International, then you had the Physique Mr. International, then now on the side to kick it out.
Yeah, I mean it's disappointing when those big, because that's, besides the Olympia, that's the most prestigious contest that we have, and to see the division eliminated is, it's very disappointing. Now I did see that for the UK Arnold, they've added women's physique back in, which is great. So I've it's by application only. They'll attract, I think, the top girls. I heard they've had about 30 applicants so far. So we'll see when the list comes out in a few days who's going to do that show. But I think it just shows in those types of big events, there's a huge interest, and the athletes will travel to participate in those shows. So yeah, hopefully they bring it back to Columbus. It's kind of disappointing they got rid of it, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's too bad when they do that.
yeah, it is. I think your division now is getting that same stink eye as women's bodybuilding. There's another
Yeah,
show. Another show was after that was the Boston Pro, and they have women's physique in that either. And there's some other shows that's not having it as much as I know. I remember when somebody told me about this, that Sarah Vigors was offering to put up some money for it, but they didn't want it. But then she put the money into to the Pittsburgh Pro. So
yeah.
and that's a good thing that she stepped up for the division. And I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's some people like Sarah that are really, putting their heart and soul into trying to bring the support and the money to some of these contests. I mean, everything the Wings of Strength group has done in the past 4 or 5 years is just phenomenal, because there was, if you look 5 years ago, 6 years ago, uh, the women's bodybuilding was just really dying out. But Wings of Strength has put so much energy into the Rising Phoenix and now the Olympia, and that's you're seeing a lot more athletes at these shows, which is fantastic. Linda Murray, of course, and Elena Popo, who've are the spokespeople for women's bodybuilding there. I think that's really exciting to see, and you're starting to see some of the bigger physique girls have somewhere to go, right? So it's I think it's good.
yeah. I think when they pushed it out of after the last Miss Olympia 2014, and they pushed it out women's bodybuilding, it seemed like there was like a real shakeup for a good bit, because I know a lot of women over in Canada who compete as bodybuilders. They either had a choice, either do physique or just there was nothing else for them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. One lady I saw, I did, when I did my slide, one woman, Robin Hillis, that you work out with. I know you
good
know
friend of
Robin.
mine.
Yeah,
Robin's a
yeah,
good friend of mine. Yeah,
yeah, and she's too big for physique. I don't, she's huge,
yeah,
and she's been a Women's Strength ambassador. She's also like yourself. She's a mother with children, two
yeah.
daughters. Also, she's a grandmother, which is
She's
like,
got grandchildren.
yeah,
Yeah.
grandkids. That's very special to me with that. And the quick question is like, I don't know, you can't speak for you, don't have to, but a lot of us are queers. Is she competing this year? Because I thought she might do
You know
maybe.
what? I was talking to her actually this week. She's we're both in Ontario. We're both Canadian, but she lives about 4 hours away from here. But she's going to be getting married in December. Um, and I said, you know what? They've got that Masters Olympia. They'll have the women's bodybuilding, and what you think of that? So and she's kind of says she's retired, but. I think if she chose to, she could easily step back on stage and be right in there. She's got a great physique, and she kept getting better and better each year. So yeah, I'd love to see her back. I'll keep pushing her to do
Yeah,
that.
because like I say, like I say, I know a lot of ladies want to walk away, but that's that feeling of the competition.
Yeah,
I've seen some quite a few ladies that I walk away, but then you know what, that even though it's that feeling of competition that you want to come back,
Yeah.
And the thing is about the sport is also being that she's a mother, a grandmother, the financial strain on it. I mean, it is,
Yeah.
because you know what, if you look at it like this, it for the men, it may not cost as much for them compared to like other than food and stuff like that and other stuff like I was learning with other lady who I did an interview a couple of days ago. But the fact is, you ladies don't get as much, and when it comes down to, you don't really get no sponsorships. You don't get when you get the prize money. Guys can walk away from big doing a show and get like $20,000, while you might get 2,500, and
Yeah.
that's not fair. I mean, you put as much money because it costs more for you to compete. You have to worry about hair, makeup, not just
Suits. Yeah. Yeah.
your food, your suits. Your food suits go from $1,000 to $2,000.
Yeah.
And the guys, who I call the banana hammocks, all you got to put on is a banana hammock and some tanning, and that's about it. And
Yeah.
that's just to me, I think there should be increasing in prize money for you ladies.
See that again. The prize money for women's bodybuilding, not in physique, but through Wings of Strength, is definitely come up, which is fantastic. If they could do that for all the divisions, it'd be great. But there's just so many divisions that you'll see the men's bodybuilding and now the women's bodybuilding are rewarded, and pretty much all the rest of the divisions are around that, $2,000-3,000 for a show. It's not a lot.
Yeah, it's not a lot because think about it, like I said, one thing is you have to pay your pro card every year. That's like a lot. How
Yeah,
much is the pro card you paid for this year?
I think it's 250
So
a
this is
year.
what
Yeah,
this is what I was talking about. I did like a thing a while back where we had a discussion with some ladies and some guys too who are in the bodybuilding world. And I said like this: one thing is like what should happen is the IFBB and APC should have benefits for you athletes. You are the athletes. You are the people. No one comes to see Jim Mannion or Bob Chicarillo. We come to
yeah,
see y'all. You
yeah,
women, men and women, and it should be where there should be like pension for you when we retire, so you have something in your pocket. It
yeah,
should be health, life insurance. You have kids. That would be great for your children. Like in when you're part of a union, you pay your union dues. That money should goes into helping you, and also the IFB, NPC, they get a good chunk of change from sponsors and with deals with companies. That should go into helping y'all in the long run. Because think about it, when you say, what, I keep paying my pro card, so whenever I feel like retire, hey, I got my pension waiting for me. I got my insurance, stuff like that. Really helped me out because that's the thing is, there's a lot of more risk. Last year we just had a lot of bodybuilders passing away. I know,
yeah,
yeah, and just doing GoFundMe's and stuff like that for them. The ones that were lucky ones who had money and sponsors, they were lucky, but the others are not as lucky.
yeah, yeah. It was a lot of tragedy last year for sure.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. I think one thing was dealing with the virus. One thing, the Toronto Pro was canceled, and then
Yep.
and they brought it back. Last year, and it was 4 women. And you were there. You were at the show, and then it was 4 women for women's bodybuilding again.
Yeah. Well, they had it in December, and then they just had it this past weekend. And one of the things, Toronto Pro used to be, they had a huge expo downtown, and with the pandemic and everything, they moved it out by the airport. So it's good that they were able to have the show. It'd be really nice to see them able to move it back down to the bigger venue and be able to have the expo, because I think that would attract a lot more athletes. So we'll see next year. I think they're just trying to do their best with the circumstances, and but it was a small show compared to how it's been in the past. It's been
Yeah, because
um,
I know
yeah,
Taylor. She competed there last couple of times. I was talking to her and said, "Why not compete
yeah,
this?" She said, "Nah, she wants to focus on another show here in the States."
yeah,
That could have been a show that she probably could have. Hey, depending on where you look at the lineup, she probably could have. She took fourth last year. That was kind of disappointing. I was hoping she would make at least top. Top.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but it's just the judges. I don't know. Some of these judges, it's crazy. It's like I don't like I said, as a fan, I don't understand. Sometimes I see some people on there say, what? How this person,
Yeah.
reach out this person, and it's wild. I mean, and as a competitor, what is your mindset about this? How judges, pick and choose and just
So I have a little different view on that because I was a judge for many years. So kind of when I was getting towards the end of my competing time, the first time around. I got involved in judging, actually promoted, Laura and I promoted some local shows here. But when I'm watching a show, especially live stream, sometimes even if you're in the audience and sitting at that table 20 feet away from the athletes, they look different. So it is a different perspective they have. And I think when they're, the pro level, everybody's good. So it's just how they see it that day and who stands out. And usually, yes, I mean, there's lots of times where I think, well, if I'd been in that chair, I might have had the order a little bit differently. But, I think overall, when you got a panel, you've got usually 5 or 7, sometimes 9 judges in the big shows. And hopefully that balances things out. So you're not just getting one person's kind of take on it. You get everybody to score the division, and hopefully that balances it out. But yeah, I think we all look at it sometimes and go, well, I'm not sure I would have had it in that order, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah, all right. Here we got man. Our man Jay here. Fantastic crab muscular pose, Melanie. He loves crab pose, yeah. And also he's saying like this. Question for Melanie: what are your thoughts on Miss Olympia champions Andrea Shaw and women's physique champion, Olympic champion Sarah Vigas personally as athletes? And what's your opinion on as these ladies, I would say, are now the gold standard for both their divisions. And where she came in, she was originally a physique competitor. She went up a couple of years ago. Then she won she comes out the gate when they brought back Miss Olympia, win Miss Olympia back to back. And then here comes Sarah, who beats out somebody like, Shanique Grant. And then, and now she's also the back-to-back champion.
Yeah. They're both obviously the best in the world right now. So, Andrea, she sort of burst onto the scene a couple of years ago and just dominated the Rising Phoenix and the Olympia, and that's tough to do. And you've got Margie Martins and Helen Trevino, and there's some really good women's bodybuilders right now. So to come in and not out of nowhere, but just be relatively new and be of that caliber that you can take those titles, I think is really impressive. Got an amazing physique. It'll be I think it'll be tough to beat her, but we never know who's going to come up or who's going to get better. And Sarah, same thing. Like she's obviously got that crazy conditioning. It's interesting when you look. I don't know her personally, but when you look back at some of her pictures earlier as an athlete, the amount of muscle she's been able to add and how she's developed her physique is really impressive. So. Yeah, but I've got respect for pretty much anybody who does this because I know what goes into it. But when you're at that level, it's those are people I look up to, and so when you're striving to be better, so when you're thinking in the gym about, do I want to do this extra cardio today or not? Those are the people I'm thinking of.
Yeah, because what's Andrea? Andrea. She kind of reminded me of Audrey Harris White, right about the jaw and the face line.
Yeah. When you're talking about the muscle belly, so she has those beautiful, like big round muscle bellies. She's got just the way they flow in her body. She's got a really nice flow to her physique. Nothing missing. She doesn't really have any. There are some athletes where you go, they need to bring up the back or they need a bit more calves or whatever, but there's not really much there that she needs to improve. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We're getting a lesson here from this lovely lady who is a wife, a mother, a former judge, a competitor who stood on the shoulders of giants, and it's great because, like I said, I love talking. I love to talk to the ladies who have, like I call it this, had their boots on the ground, 10 toes down, who have seen it, done it. People like I said, like a dear friend, Miss Rhonda Lee, Nancy Lewis. I did interview her back with Sue Price.
She was my idol. So Sue Price. It's funny you mentioned her name because she wasn't. She's like people that you talk to today. They don't remember her like they would remember, Linda and Kim Chevette, the top girls, and Mickey Gates. But she was short too, right?
Yeah,
but man, she had
yes, amazing physique. I think one thing, she had a great physique, a pretty face. Yes. That was the thing that if she would have been a physique competitor today, I think she'd done pretty good.
100%. Yeah.
100%. Right now, a while back she had She has shoulder surgery. She works, she lives in California. She's like yourself. She has both a son and daughter. They're twins. They're fraternal twins. And we try to keep it. I just did a birthday video for her. She's a big Brian May fan from Queen. I mean, usually
Okay.
supposed to be like Freddie Mercury, but Brian May. Okay, that's what I say.
Okay.
Yeah, but like I say, women like you who
Put
have.
you put Sue beside Julianne Malacarney. That'd be kind of an interesting
Oh,
comparison.
oh yeah. Oh wow, Julianne. Ooh, yeah. He beat Donnelly Bailey. The first when she
Yeah.
came back the second time, and I think that, she just recently just had a child, so also go.
Yes. Yeah.
And someone like I'm trying to think of somebody else. Like put aside like Sarah Vilgas, how she did get Sarah. I mean,
Yep.
with her looks and her physique. I mean, she did pretty good. And this is what I was thinking about how the divisions have been changing. And as
Yes.
we talked about the Arnold earlier, I was watching some videos from behind the stage, where like
Yeah.
backstage videos from the Arnold,
Yep.
and I'm telling you, the figure and fitness women are starting to look more like physique,
Yeah.
and
Especially figure.
yeah,
So
like someone like Jessica Padilla Reyes, who I follow. Also, there's An Jung from South Korea. I mean, even if you look at somebody like Erica Deer, who's in fitness,
yeah.
and Mitzi Trescott, you wouldn't think because well, if you remember, fitness was created for alternative for female body. Like another great Canadian who did that was Sharon Bernot, who switched from
Yes.
women's bodybuilding to fitness for a good minute. Michelle Rabelais, the late Laura Bass, a couple of other. I don't can't forget also Ken Zavetsky. But then figure was created as alternative. It's kind of like I think it was pre-bikini for bikini, but
Yeah.
women are getting to the level where they're getting those muscle bellies. They're getting the styrations. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be a little bit more softer, pulling back away from female bodybuilding. But this is like remember Shanique Grant, she was a physique competitor. Natalia was a figure competitor. They
Yeah.
all, it's just this is
Tanya
like
Chartrand, we were talking about.
yeah,
She was
yeah,
figure.
yeah,
She
because
went out. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, because she earned her Olympic pro card at the Puerto Rico Pro. A couple ladies who have become friendly with Daphne Carter and Stacey Nunez competed that show. And
Yes.
I've been talking with her on social media. I've been trying to get her on the show here sometime soon because
Yeah.
I think she's like yourself. She's a mother. She has kids, and I'd like to give y'all women a platform. Who are the women who? Because people don't think that female bodybuilders they can't have kids. But there's plenty of you that have them before you got into sport. Some had while they were still competing, and then those women like yourself who get out of it. Like I remember when Sue said she didn't want to push that next level of femininity, so she said she
Yeah.
would step back, and that's when she started having a family. And there's like people like Alicia Young who had her daughter while she was still competing.
Yeah. Irene Anderson. I think she's got a couple of kids.
Yeah, she has 3 kids. She gets two sons
Yeah.
and a daughter,
Yeah.
and she's also
Yeah.
a grandmother. And
Yeah.
and people don't think that hey, these women like I do a thing on my comparison what I call flex and sex appeal, and there's some attractive women in this sport. There are people might look at the muscle, but look at the woman overall, especially if you wear something like a like a tight little suit or something like
Yeah.
something like a jumpsuit like that, and you just everything is popping, and as we said,
Yeah.
we go wild about y'all ladies,
Yeah.
and it's just got to realize that you are a woman, you are an athlete, you're a wife, you're a mother, you are a businesswoman, you do what you can do in this sport, and you make your living, and then we feel like what, I'm done. I got a life. I can settle that. And I know some competitors they live their life in the gym, but others they like you said, you took a step back when you said
Yeah.
what, I couldn't compete these size girls. But then when the time came, your passion as an athlete, you said what, I want to come back.
Yeah. And that's I think I mean, I love kind of everything about the sport, but the people, whether it's the bodybuilders from the '90s that I got to meet and become friends with, or the women's physique, and actually all the divisions that I meet today or connect with. There's so many great stories and amazing people, and other moms that I meet or business people. So it's a really rich environment for me. So I just love it. It's funny you were talking about the difference between the divisions, and there's a few of these I don't know, unicorns that could go in. And so Missy's a good example. She's top of the game in fitness, But she could easily step on stage in figure or physique and be right up there. So there's a few that could make the choice to do another division if they wanted to, which is, I think that's a good thing. It gives you options, right?
Yeah, it gives you options. If you remember when bodybuilding started, it was just you have men's bodybuilding, you have women's
Yeah.
bodybuilding, and then you create fitness came along, and then now you look at it, there's like 6 divisions for the women, 4 divisions for the men. You break down, you have open men, open for women. We have 212 and physique. Those two are kind of like parallel.
Yeah.
You have classic physique. You have figure, and
Yeah.
you have bikini,
And then
and
wellness.
and well, bikini and men's physique. Then
Yes.
wellness and fitness kind of stand on their own because I remember back in the '90s they did try to do men's fitness, but then
Yeah.
that didn't last too long. I don't think.
That didn't, yeah.
Yeah, no one wants to see guys and
Nobody wants to see that.
around. Nah. Guys
Yeah.
who are former ballet dancers and male cheerleaders. I mean, but wellness is a new division. And she's,
Yeah.
I think Arnold was the one who helped kind of bring it in because
Yeah.
he was in Brazil, and the girls
Yeah.
a little bit more. I think for the girls who are a little bit more bottom heavy, who just
Yeah.
larger quads. Like a lady, like I said, the interview with who's we became friendly with Miss Daffy Carter. She's from Florida. She's a nurse. She's a mother
Yeah.
herself with 2 little girls, and
Yeah.
she's switching over because it fits her. Because you know what, it's harder for some women to get. They want to push. Like I said again, they want to push that level to get out of femininity. To make that
Yeah.
that sacrifice where I want to get bigger and harder. But then you know what, I still want to be a girly girl.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't sure when they brought that division. I thought, I'm not sure what I'll think of this, but I really like the Olympia. That those physiques they look great. So I think it's a good division.
It's
I'll
good.
tell you though, if they ever if the women's bodybuilding got big enough again in the next couple of years, and they brought in the lightweight bodybuilding, that's where I'd go. But
Yeah,
I like physique. I like physique.
I think what should happen is they should with figure should be cut out and be called physique, and physique should go up to become lightweight. When back because I didn't like it when they took it and did that when back in the day. But then as I'm doing this content and started learning stuff, I say that
Yeah.
was a good move because the fact is, there's some women like if you look someone like someone like Michaela Aycock,
Yeah.
it'd be easier for her to compete with somebody who would be her by her size, by her height, you know,
Yeah.
than compete
Yeah.
with somebody like standing because she could stand on stage with someone like Helen Trevino and also Irie Anderson, and then there's the girls who are getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
I think and with figure, I think it could be or you call it new physique. You can have a height class,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it'd be a lot easier for a lot of taller girls, a lot of leaner
Yeah.
girls.
Yeah. I think that'd be interesting to see because, like you say, like with Michaela said, like when you put her beside Margie or Andrea, there's a big size difference, so it's hard to if you had a separate division like a lightweight division. I think um, that would be good. I think
Yeah.
once if they ever had the numbers, if they started getting 20 girls at a show, but I didn't see it in the amateur rank, so I'm not sure what it's like in the U.S. with the NPC, but up here, the local shows, you're nobody's. I mean, you get a couple girls doing women's bodybuilding, and even the physique, like it's just all the girls are doing figure and bikini. It seems to be.
Yeah, because I was about to do like I do like a video where I explain what's coming up because Omaha's coming up this weekend. I looked on the list. There's
Yeah,
like 500 physique girls and 2 female bodybuilders. I said, wait a minute, but I'm thinking, well, they probably hadn't registered yet. It's one lady who I thought was going to be competing was Stephanie Fletcher. I thought she'd be the Toronto Dick show, but Stephanie's out because of a foot injury.
she's
Yeah,
injured. Yeah, I heard that. That's too bad.
yeah,
Yeah,
and Hella, she's recovering from her shoulder injury.
yeah,
Injuries and all that stuff is just
yeah.
common to any athlete
We
sport.
haven't seen Margie yet this year either.
Well, Margie, I think she might compete, but from the feeling of it, there's the possibility this might be her last year because
Okay.
you took 3rd place last year, took second when it came back, and now she lives in Vegas. I think she's starting a business and stuff like that. She's
Yeah.
really, I think, she's really probably pushing away from it. Like I
Yeah.
know with Iris, after the last Olympics,
Yes.
came back, but I remember I reached out to her about doing the interview. She said no, because she just she got sick, but it wasn't the virus. It was like basically she had the flu.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Margie had a big impact on me. She was up in Canada for the Toronto Pro Show that she won a couple years back, and when you when you see somebody getting ready to compete, when they're heading over to the prejudging, usually they're pretty focused and they don't really want to be distracted. And there's Margie walking through the expo hall, and this always stuck with me. And there were fans coming up to her, and she just gave anybody that wanted to talk to her, she gave her full attention. She was just such a kind, generous person, and that really stuck with me because I thought, here's somebody. She won the show. She's at the top of her game, and she just was so generous with her time. And but I thought that impressed me a lot about her.
Yeah. The thing about Margie's a former United States Marine. We like to
Yes,
say service. She's also a mother, and she's a businesswoman. She's the first two-time Rising Phoenix champion. I mean, she's done it all.
Yeah.
We got here Olenator 98. I mean, if the one thing is, I wish you all the best. Huge respect for your hard work. God bless you. Greetings from Germany.
Thank you.
However, I got a dear friend. She's also a former bodybuilder. She's also a mother. She lives in Germany. Her name is Keisha Thomas, Miss Tigress. Miss Tigress. Her documentary Iron Tigress just got played here in
Okay.
for the first
time. I think I saw you post that.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't do any live stream a couple of times. We're fighting buddies because sometimes we get situations. I tell her, like, one time I came a little late for an interview, and she started telling jokes. Said, "Well, you know what? We're gonna fight in the back streets." And you remember this? I'm like, you're like the movie with Bruce Willis. I'm the last man standing. Last man standing. I'm gonna quote a lot of movies. So, folks, we have here the lovely lady, a legend. We don't hold her up because she just got back from working out. She's hangry.
I'm gonna have to eat soon.
Yeah, she got kids to feed.
That's right. There's one in the background pacing.
Yeah, I know. I saw a while ago.
He's waiting for his lunch.
Yeah, but like I said, if you could change anything in the sport, what would you change? What things you would like to see, not just as a competitor, but also being there, you be an expert judge. What would you like to see change in overall the sport of bodybuilding?
Yeah, and I think a lot of things you've already mentioned. Like, it would be nice to see the athletes rewarded financially or with some kind of perks or incentives, just to sort of recognize, that they're professional athletes. I think that would be one thing. With the masters categories, it would be great to see them eliminating the fees for those athletes to compete at the pro level. I think that would be one. Those would be sort of the two things. I think just that compensation would be a good change to see. So yeah, I think other than that, the divisions are still growing. We still got lots of shows, lots of opportunity, and so I think that's all great. Yeah, I think just the financial piece.
Yeah, I think one thing is y'all should be at least, like I said again, y'all are the ones that people come to see.
Yeah.
And I think you should get paid or compensated for your time and your hard work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's harder for you women to get sponsored compared to the men or compared to the figure or bikini and wellness girls because they fit the narrative of femininity, but you are athletes. You work hard, you train. You maybe not the same as men, but you did put just as much work as they do. And it's a lot harder for you because, like I said, society has this ideology when you're like, I know one lady I was talking to, sometimes she goes out, people looking at her, guys are looking at her, people feel uncomfortable with the idea with muscle. But you know what? No one says nothing. They do look at the guys, but there's not as much, I would say, prejudice towards the men as towards the women.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. People like you that support the women like me that are interested in building muscle and competing, because all of us get kind of the negative comments too, whether it's on social media or whatever. So it's I know it's nice to have some positive support, and so thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. Well, one of my things, like I said, I like to quote the Batman because if one of my guys who was there, he always talks to Jim like quote this. When the end of Batman begins, when Jim Gordon says to Batman, "I forgot to thank you," and Batman turned around and said to him, "You don't have to, because this is something I want to do. This gives me a purpose." As you know, this is a little story about myself. I took care of my mother for 5 years before she passed away. and now she's gone. And I was doing this while I was taking care of her. It's something to help me dealing with her stuff. And then I really get into it and started learning some stuff. Right, what ladies I've talked to, who are I become friendly with, acquainted with. I'm learning some things about this sport. I mean, just being from the guy look from the outside, but then from the information I'm getting, I'm really getting some knowledge. And women like yourself, who's been in the sport as long as you have, who have competed alongside giants and legends, who is a legend in your own right. You are a legend because you have done it, you've done it, and I respect for y'all ladies. Yes, as when I was younger, I did things that I don't want to repeat.
We all have. Yeah.
Yeah, that was when I was younger, but I'm matured now, and I'm really learning something from this, and I do appreciate your time. I do appreciate you. I hope we get to see you compete. Maybe this year, if not next year. Whatever you want to do in this sport, we have a lot of respect for you. Now, folks, as I said again, her information, her social media information description. If you are somebody, especially if in the Canadian area or even in the States, if you're interested in reaching out to her for be a sponsor. And his thing is, don't be doing that weird stuff like, hey, Melanie, if I sponsor you, no, don't do that.
I'm not sending anyone my socks.
No socks, no, nothing like that, nothing like that. No. Be like, you know what, Mr. Horton, I really want to see you succeed in your path in this sport. So I'm really sponsor you. I don't want anything. I just want to see success. We got my man here who I was just talking about, and most definitely KL. Don't go against nature. So, George, you're the Dark Knight of the female bodybuilding talk. No, I'm not the Dark Knight. I am the Joker.
The Joker.
Wow, so serious, son. I'm not the dog chasing cars. I don't know when I don't know what to do with it.
What'd you think of the new Batman?
I like Rob Pattinson. He's all right.
Yeah.
I like it. I grew up with Adam West when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I watched the Mike Keaton Batmans. George Clooney, I won't forget about him.
Yeah.
Kristen Bale.
Yeah,
his Batman was best on reality. Everybody talking about Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck, only thing he had was that one fight scene in the warehouse. That's about it. Because it was so much closer to maybe because I cut comic books I used to cut comic books when I was younger. I got a bunch of them in story class here at the house. And and to him, he was like more like Batman Returns. But I've seen clips of it. I want to see the movie. I hope to get a chance to because where I live, the theaters have most been closed down because there's.
Yeah. It was it was okay. I think you'll like Kristen Bale's better, but it was. Okay.
Yeah, now he's doing the Thor movie where he's playing Gore, the God Killer. He's now
right. Yeah.
He stayed long enough to become the villain. Like remember in the Dark Knight. Here you go. 100% Melanie Horton. Oh, you got a fan here. And also had to get you started with the Joker. Yes, you did. Because I love the Joker. Because my father was a drunk and a fiend.
Well, the new Batman, the Joker's in there.
Yeah, there's that little clip of him. The dude that got him talking. I think the best Joker. I said you go like this. You go okay. Heath, Jack. Mark Hamill, we voiced the old animated series. Joaquin, and really the worst one has to be when Jared Leto played it. I mean, it was kind of but
I agree with you there.
But like I said, we do appreciate you. If you ever if you want to come back here, like maybe after a show, you want to talk about your experience, share it. I'd be happy to have you on because I enjoy talking to you, ladies.
And I'll be talking to Tanya and Rob, and I'll encourage them to come on and love what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be competing in Florida later this year.
Oh, we got here somebody named God's Will. I don't know how to say. Hey, Melanie, it's God's Will. Who's that? I mean,
Sure.
I mean, he's a fan. My favorite Joker is Mark. Yeah, Mark Hamill is we voice the. And before we got here, Omar Acosta, another beauty today. Yes, she's a beautiful lady, a beautiful, mature lady. We love our beautiful ladies. And we appreciate her time. And if you can't get Tanya to come on, I appreciate it. I love you, lady. We've been talking back and forth. I'm hoping to get her on here. Like I said, I really want to give y'all ladies a place because between if you look on YouTube right now, there's 20 11 million sites dedicated to bodybuilding, but mostly more about the men.
Yeah.
Only so few, like I saw you do with DD on the spot with Ryan,
Yeah.
and also there's the female bodybuilding channel. Also,
Yeah.
there's a guy named Max Mars Muscle. He wants to do a lot of the guys, but he does a women's only Wednesday. I just saw he posted his women only Wednesday from the Toronto Pro. He did I think he did Lisa Codry,
Kudry? Yeah.
and also Jihad V. He did a match
Yes.
between those two. And to me, Lisa, if something people didn't wasn't there, I think Lisa wasn't as good as she did.
Yeah, her conditioning's great. She just, I think, as she puts on more size for the division, she'll continue to be competitive. But she always comes in great condition. So.
Yeah, great condition. But bodybuilding, it's not much about condition. Size is an important thing too. Maybe some women say the size does. Some guys say size don't matter, but it does. But here we get one. Yeah, and we got here from Laura. Hello, George and Melanie. Laura from Montreal. Here, God's Will says, "Hey, Melanie is beautiful and hot." Oh, you got a fan. You know the hots. You guys come in late because we're about to end up. But if you want to watch it, you can watch the later. Comment, subscribe, support. Like I said again, follow her on social media. Reach out to her. Be genuine. Don't be. You know my rules, guys. I know sometimes it's hard enough to tell you hard hits how to do it. No D pics. Don't sit. Don't.
Thank you.
Don't do that.
George is looking. You got my back, George. Looking out.
Oh yeah, I got your back. I got your back, girl. I got your back, dog.
All right.
But we do appreciate her time. I know.
Yeah, come out, support me in Florida later this year. I'll be in Daytona. And then,
I know. Later, I was just talking to. I think she's planning on doing Daytona also.
Okay.
I'm right now. I'm planning on going to Savannah.
Okay. Yeah.
To go see a show because I know. This is gonna be my first show scene because I've never been to a show. I usually I usually watch them on television. Used to have ESPN like that, and NBC used to have them. But then now you show poker and video games. What the hell? I mean, that's a
Savannah will be good. Linda's show.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be.
They don't have women's physique though.
No, they don't. They don't. Sorry about that. They do have figure, but you get close.
If you go and you see Linda, tell her to put physique in it next year. Oh, maybe they do have. They do have physique. They do have physique in Savannah.
She's having it for the Atlanta also, I believe so. Because but where I live I live in North Carolina, and I'm just about a few hours away from Savannah. So
that's my coaches. My coaches in North Carolina.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's cool. A while back I went to an event. A gentleman who become acquainted with Mr. Glenn Young Sr. He has a magazine called Amazon Fitness Magazine, and he had a release party. And I got to meet a couple of ladies that I did interviews with. One of your fellow Canadians, Amanda Snooks.
Yes.
Me and her have been social media friends for a long time.
Yeah.
A lovely lady by the name of Miss Mary Ann Wachowski. I hate to always mispronounce her name. She's a great lady. I got to meet some women who are amateurs, pros. It was just something exciting for me, especially for being a fan of you ladies for a long time. Because like I said, when I got into it, my older brother, he was playing football. He used to get the muscle mags. I used to like, I grew up in a good part of the 80s, guys like He-Man and stuff like that. And then y'all women was something just blew my mind. It just, being I was in my pubescent stages of my life. Here we go again. God will. I hope Melanie wins FBB. She's physique. She's God's will. She's physique now. And Melanie is number one. Oh, you getting some fans here. And JM. Wow, Melanie has some fans already in this chat. Yeah, you have some fans. And I think that's a good thing because this helps your social media when you have people follow you. Yeah, it just. But anyway, we're gonna say good day to her. Or in Canada, you say A. You do the A. Well, here down in South we do like A. Our A's are long, or either New York is the long A's, but New York is A. We're quick, and down here South it's like A. We do it real slow. Everything's kind of slow down here South. But like I said, we appreciate your time. We respect you, who you are as a mother, a wife, a legend, a competitor. I mean, you ladies, you take a lot of guff from the outside, but you know what? People gotta respect you as who you are, and as a competitor, and as a woman. And remember, you are a woman. No matter what we say, like she's, she's she try to be a man, folks. This is a woman. She has kids. She's married.
Yeah.
I don't see nothing manly about her. I don't get that. That mentality would say, we try to be a man. No, you are an athlete. No one's trying to tell Schwarzenegger he's trying to be a woman. Even though he, weight stuff he done. Here you go. Jay, wow, wow, dude. And here you go. Great success, Melody, in your projects. That's Laura.
Thank you.
And again here, nice meeting you, Melody. That's from Jay.
You too, Jay. Yeah.
And thank you, Jay. That's to God's will, whatever else. But like I said, we'd like to thank you again, and we support you. And
all right, we'll keep in touch, and yeah. She got Laura, as Laura used to always say, it's just about becoming a bigger, better athlete, right? That's men and women. So.
I would love to interview her someday if she ever.
Yeah, I'll ask her. She'd probably.
I would love to. That'd be like next to my get with Nancy and Sue. That'd be almost like like a you call what how do they call it? What's that bucket list thing? I mean,
yeah, she's got some good stories from.
I would love to hear her stories. I would love to hear her stories.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'd like to thank you again. We appreciate.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate my brothers God's Will coming in here. Omar, JM, Lar, KLA, all the other guys who come here. Like I said again, follow her on social media. Be respectful. Support these women in sport of bodybuilding. If you are somebody who's interested in supporting women in sport of bodybuilding, be genuine about your support. Don't be the guy looking for it. And truthfully, yes, you are. Yes. And much respect to her, and good luck to you. Go ahead and eat. We're gonna leave you alone.
Okay.
This is me always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk. Don't subscribe. I'm out.